Пиздату.
The Russian Navy is one of the most depleted branches of their armed forces in the war in Ukraine, that's for sure. 2 Russian naval vessels have reportedly sustained major technical failures in separate incidents in the Mediterranean and the Azov region. According to Russian investigative outlet VCHK OGPU on September 27th, the Project 636.3 submarine Novorossiysk experienced a critical malfunction in its fuel system while operating in the Mediterranean Sea. The leak caused fuel to enter the bilge compartment. Sources told the outlet that the crew lacks both the necessary spare parts and trained specialists to carry out repairs. The report suggested that one of the few options available would be to discharge the remaining fuel into the sea, highlighting the submarine's degraded operational state. VCHK OGPU also reported that the Project 21631 Buyan M missile corvette Vishny Volokhyok was severely damaged in August 2025 after colliding with a civilian tanker in the Temryuk Bay of the Azov Sea. The accident occurred on August 7th during what was described in official documents as combat tasks. Photographs published by the outlet show visible structural damage to the vessel's hull. Despite this, a subsequent service report recorded the event as taking place during a drone attack and claimed the ship's combat readiness remained unaffected. VCHK OGPU stated that the wording was introduced following the involvement of Brigade Commander Oleg Sardin. Earlier in August, a brand new Russian Navy tugboat, Captain Ushakov, sank during final outfitting at the Baltic shipyard in St. Petersburg. The vessel capsized overnight after flooding in the auxiliary machinery compartment and was later found resting on the bottom alongside the pier. The tug was intended for the Northern Fleet and had not yet entered service. A video from occupied Donetsk region shows a roadside graveyard of destroyed Russian military equipment filmed by a Russian himself. Warthog Defense reported that Russia has already lost more tanks in Ukraine than Italy, and Japan combined, lost during the entirety of World War II. The sheer scale of destruction is staggering, with thousands of armored vehicles, artillery systems, and logistics assets wiped out in just over 2 years of fighting. This unprecedented level of equipment loss highlights both the intensity of the conflict and the inability of the Russian military to shield its forces from Ukraine's relentless strikes. And another episode of tired, depressed, and angry Russian soldiers mobilized in 2022, which have been reflecting on their 3 years at war. "I feel like I'm in the Hunger Games," one remarks. Others speculate that the Russian government wants to exterminate ethnic Russians. Many soldiers don't understand why the war has dragged on for so long and have turned to conspiracy theories to try to explain it. Some blame the Ukrainians, others blame the Russian government, or the West, or Muslim immigrants from Central Asia. One asks, with whom are we negotiating peace? With mercenaries? With those who smash markets and civilian homes with HIMARS? Or perhaps with those who glorify the swastika and the ideas of the Third Reich? Peace negotiations are only possible if the Ukrainian government changes its course on Nazism. But most likely, the entire Ukrainian government is held hostage by the Nazis. Others say that the Russian government is deliberately exterminating its own people to replace them with foreign migrants. They claim that the authorities are interested in zeroing out the people and needing to eliminate as many men as possible. As evidence, they cite the Russian army's notorious meat wave tactics and its inability to counter Ukraine's wall of drones. There are 10 Ukrainian drones for every Russian man. Why don't we have that many drones? I have an opinion on this that could get me jailed. I think someone is pursuing a policy of zeroing out the maximum number of people. Otherwise, we would have drones flying or driving instead of using stormtroopers. Soldiers speculate that the Russian government is massacring them so that Muslim migrants can take over. What if our country turns into a Muslim one, dumps Russian men on their own, and pays widows so they can start a new family with migrants? One asks in a chat room. They feel increasingly alienated from civilians back home, whom they feel don't understand their situation and aren't concerned about their problems. The country doesn't really care, a soldier complains. They're just dancing. Whoever's affected gets screwed. And no one even knows where the front is. You can see it all on vacation. No one's interested in the subject. Everyone just wants to drink. Now I don't even have any friends among civilians. It's like there's some kind of hatred for everyone, says another. It's not that we became like this. It's that they made us like this. We'll waste our entire youth here, and no one will even say thank you. The soldiers are uncertain what they are fighting for, reflecting widespread confusion inside the Russian army. A mobilized soldier sees the goal of going to conquer Kyiv as bullshit. I would suggest returning all the territories and resigning, but I feel sorry for the people who are supporting Russia. The Ukrainians will probably start to crack down on them. So the other option is to reach the banks of the Dnipro and draw a border there. And that's it. A lifelong state of war along the river. That's probably the best option for the people in Russian-occupied territories. Another agrees that the objective should be the capture of all of the territory that Russia has proclaimed to be annexed. For me, the end of the special military operation is the liberation of the LPR, DPR, Zaporizhzhia, and Kherson, as was announced at the beginning. And the armchair experts who shout about taking Mykolaiv and Odessa, let them go and take them back, but bring us home. Others just want to go home. I want it to be over. I feel like I'm in the Hunger Games. I mean, we were chosen, and with everyone's approval, sent to the slaughter, while everyone else sits at home, screws their women, goes on vacation, drinks beer at the bar, and doesn't give a damn. And here we're banned from everything, from shopping to alcohol. A few still want to go all the way west to the Polish border, despite the great unlikeliness of this prospect. We're here for victory. No, reaching Kyiv or Lviv isn't enough, says one Mobik who has remained fervent despite everything. We need to take complete control of the entire territory of Ukraine, purge the Nazis, ensure the functioning of institutions, and establish dialogue between society and government bodies. Nazi ideology is already being welcomed in Europe. We're fully preparing for a major war, which is why I don't understand the complacency of our society. Everyone lives as if their eyes are closed. It's sad. There is no peace, alas. The war has had devastating effects on the family lives of the mobilized men, with many divorces and separations, as well as the loss of irreplaceable family moments. One man comments that he has not seen his family for 3 years. My wife has been alone for 3 years, and my children are growing up without fathers. The first words, the first steps, all in vain. Those at the top don't care about our problems. Another reflects on what the war has cost him. Just imagine, he writes, I'm 42, and I had everything wonderful in my life. A small business, family, friends, and a strong sense of patriotism. And then I lost it all, including my health. It just so happened that I've never been abroad and never wanted to leave because I love my homeland. But now I realize that patriotism is punished in today's reality, and they don't need us, and people like us need to be simply got rid of. They need the greedy, the corrupt, and so on. Honesty, integrity, and principles have become simply dangerous. That's why I very often feel the urge to go as far away as possible from this insanity, lies, and hypocrisy. My eyes have been opened, but we're still here. The terror against Kherson does not cease for even a single day. The Russian army dropped 15 aerial bombs on Kherson, shelled the city center with artillery and multiple rocket launchers. Russian forces killed a 74-year-old woman and injured 8 others.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.